this call is about habits and what is a habit. So a habit is something that we repeat could be from when we're a child over and over. And those actions actually create neural pathways in our brain that make it that we don't even have to think about what we're doing. So that way we could live our lives. Because if we had to make a decision about every little thing that we did throughout the day, we couldn't function properly. So we have 90% of our choices throughout the day are habitual, and that is how you were created. And some of the habits we have are actually very helpful. Like, this is an example of, we drive, turn signal, braking, changing lanes. You could do that and not be thinking about it so much. And I mean, this is a joke that, while you're on the phone and eating breakfast and putting on your makeup, I hope you're really not doing that, but you get the point. And I sometimes actually will drive to a spot that I'm used to driving to because I'm so used to it. I all of a sudden will be like, oh my gosh, I'm going the wrong direction, because it's just a habit of mine to go in that direction. So our brains are really fascinating, and some of our habits are very helpful. But then we have the unhealthy habits that Dr. Anderson refers to as habits of disease. And, just like we have healthy habits like brushing our teeth and all different good habits, we have also reinforced pathways over time, a lot of it from when we were a child. And usually it's to cope with certain emotions. For example, here you see stress, boredom, anxiety, unhappiness, or just for comfort. And when we were small, if we were sad, sometimes we would get a cookie or, some type of food. And, after a while that we would associate, if we're sad or, we have some type of emotion, we just go for that cookie. And it's like that. It's simple, it's easy. And if you look back, you could even say to yourself, does the cookie solve the problem? Are we less stressed because we ate the cookie? Are we less bored because we ate the cookie? We have a momentary satisfaction from it, but it doesn't really solve the problem. So it's a habit of disease, that habit, and it actually doesn't solve the problem. But we're such creatures of habit that we don't always think about if it's solving our problems. We just do it because that's what we do. So that's what I'm challenging you tonight, the first step is to identify what are these habits. And if we could find those habits and point them out, that will be our first step. And then in the coming weeks, we're going to discuss on how to create healthy habits in our life and replace those habits of disease. But the very first step is to actually identify them. And the reason I'm pausing is because I need to unmute three people. So give me 1 second. We unmuted Stacy. Stacy, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to bring you on. And I want you to, if you could introduce Bonnie and tell us a little about her, and that'd be great.
Sure. Okay. So Bonnie has been a client for the last couple of years. She was very successful in losing about 40 pounds, and she decided to become a health coach as well. She definitely has, gone through her ups and downs, right, which is one of the reasons I think it's really great that she's willing to share, the realness of her struggles. And Bonnie has recently recommitted to program. She gained a little bit of her weight back and wants to get back to where she was last summer. And she has been utilizing a new tool that we started using, the Diet Trap solution, combining that with the support from our program and our wonderful plan, our wonderful food plan that we have. And the combination of all of those has really, really been very helpful to Bonnie. And she has been very, I won't get too lengthy, but just to say that Bonnie, when she came on program, she was suffering with Lyme's disease, and that the weight loss and the program in general helped her tremendously to overcome a lot of the symptoms that she was struggling with, and to give her more energy. And all of her numbers, you know, at her doctor's appointments increased. Every time she went back, her numbers were getting better and better. And with that, I will give the floor to Bonnie, if you're there, Bonnie.
I am here. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So let me tell you, I could not have done this without Stacy's consistency, checking in, being that coach. So that's number one. Number two, I was the toughest because I have such a very busy life, as everybody does, and I work a lot. And I said, I don't have time to read. I don't have time to be coached. Just give me the food. Well, it absolutely was not enough, right? So the part that was missing for me was that I had 40 plus years of bad habits that food alone was not helping. And Stacy said, you've got to read this book. And it has really changed my habits, my eating. So let me tell you two of my bad habits. First one is I'm a sugar addict. My body can detect sugar in anything. And what it does is tells me it wants more. And I am then out of control. The second bad habit would be my portion sizes. I love food. I love seconds. Even on the 5-in-1, I look forward to dinner and I can put the appropriate amount of food on my plate, but then I want more. So going through the book and the program, the things that I took away and that have really changed things for me, as Stacy said, I have chronic Lyme. And because of this, I am totally gluten intolerant. It causes major inflammation in my body. I would never think of inflicting that discomfort on myself. So why would I then want to eat sugar? I avoid it like the plague, knowing that it's going to do harm to me. So that was my one big thing. To gain control over portions, what I learned was to be cognizant, to sit down, eat a meal, and really keep track of how much time I'm spending on eating, and not, be mindless about it. So what I have to do if I am eating too fast, or if I am too into the conversations that are going on and not being mindful of what I'm putting in my mouth or how fast, I have to switch to my non-dominant hand. And it's funny because that is something that really puts me back in check. And the other thing is, when I get up for seconds, I have a container ready to go on my counter, and I just slide my second portion into that container, and that is my dinner for the next night. So these are the three things that have really helped me be back on track, and I've lost 6 pounds of the 10 that I've gained just in a couple of weeks, being accountable to myself and being mindful of my goals and the things that I need to do for me to be healthy.
Thank you so much, Bonnie, for sharing. And I actually want to introduce one of my clients who we've been working together for a while. And I just want to make sure, Hannah Esther, you're there.
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah, but before you go on, I just want to introduce you. Stacey did an amazing job introducing Bonnie, and I have a tough act to follow, even though I am so impressed with Hannah Esther. She's just, her strength and fortitude on this program and her transformation, not just, in how her food, because it's so much more than that. She's really, I've seen her growth and how her mind has changed so much from being on the program. And she, through a lot of struggle, has, I think, reached a very good place. And I would love her to share a little bit about that in maybe 3 minutes or less. And sorry, Hannah Esther, for giving you a little time, but, we just want to keep this call, respect everyone's time. So thank you so much. If you could just share something, and I really would appreciate it.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for everything, for sticking with me, the ups and the downs. And I'm so thankful to that mental place where I am right now. I feel like I'm on the right track. I'm on the right road. I mean, my journey is just beginning still, I feel like, but at least I'm, heading in the right direction. And for me, I would say the biggest problem was definitely the portion control, eating constantly, always. It's embarrassing looking back and just thinking about that. Hungry, not hungry. There was a point where I didn't even remember ever being hungry because I was just always eating. And now I'm so thankful for this. And I'm so thankful that I found the version that works for me, because first it didn't work. The one that we started with didn't work so well. And we called the nutrition support, and they helped me figure out what will work for me. Full-time kids, how everyone's busy, like you said. And I'm just thankful. So thank you.
Thank you
that.
So much, Hannah Esther. And with that, I want to bring on David. You there? I don't know if I have you muted or not. Do I? I'm going to make you host. Maybe that will work. David? Okay, if it doesn't work in 1 second, I will take over. You're muted. And I cannot hear you because you are the host now. Haha.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you, David.
Okay. Hanging up the phone.
Okay, I made you the host.
I got it. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, good.
All right. So, wanted to kind of, start off. I wanted to just kind of not recapitulate. Just mention some of the. It's like, what it's like when you get the wrong word. Just to mention a couple of things. I really liked what Sarah said about the driving habit, because I love that example, because one of the things that I like to talk about with this example is, anybody who drives, do you remember when you first got behind the wheel of a car? So what did you have to think about? You had to think about everything, right? I mean, you had to know, am I looking in the mirror enough? What's in the mirror? What's in the side mirror? Am I pushing the gas too much? Am I hitting the brake? Oh my gosh, I have to go faster. I have to go slower. Is that light red? You have to think about everything. If you really had to drive like that all the time, could you do it? It'd be a really difficult situation all the time. So what happens is that as we get to be better drivers, what starts to happen is we're still doing all of those things. We're still checking the mirrors. We're still pushing the gas, pushing the brake. We're noticing what's going on in traffic patterns. We're still doing all of those things, but we're doing it sort of underneath the radar. We're doing it on our own. We don't really need, we don't need to think about them consciously. They're all just there. That's what habits are. And I really love that example, Sarah, because it just you know, it's just so clear to me when you talk about that. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'll assume that was okay. Okay. So let me just tell you a little bit about, you know, Stacy and myself. We both lost our weight on the program, and then eventually, and maybe someday I'll tell the story, we decided that we were going to become coaches, and we were going to help others do what we did. And we found that helping others really sort of forced us to keep on track ourselves. You know, now they tell us that it's like something, and coaches are like 5 times as likely to keep their weight off, so it was wonderful. So we love coaching, both because we get to help others, and we really love to do that, but also helps to keep us on task. So we love what we get to do when we talk to you guys every day. We're doing something that we love. So I just wanted to tell you that. Now, let me tell you a little bit about, next week we're going to be meeting at the same time. It's going to be about 8:30 on June 29th. I don't know, you know what, I think that I can't advance your screen though.
I'm reclaiming the host.
Okay, you do that.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking next week at 8:30 on June 29th. And you know, if you like this program, and you know others who are on program, you think that this sort of support would be helpful for them too, let them know how much you like this and invite them to come as well, because we'd love to have a bigger group here. Okay, a little bit of homework time. Now, it's not really homework, it's completely optional. Don't worry about it if you don't want to, if you don't have time, it's all good. But it is something for you to think about. Next week, we're going to be talking about breaking the behavioral chain. And the idea is to watch your behaviors and notice the things, the thoughts, the feelings that trigger bad habits. Okay, you know, those habits of disease, those things that lead you down the wrong way. Notice, kind of take a back step. So what you kind of want to do is you want to put yourself, the guy wrote Getting to Yes. You know, put yourself on the, on the, you know, what do you call it, on the balcony, and watch yourself, you know, and see how you're feeling in those times that are leading up to, you know, to those habits of disease, to those bad habits. See how you're feeling about them, and see, you know, so we want to be able to learn how to, you know, what those thoughts and feelings and triggers are, so that we can learn how to disconnect them from those actions. What we'd like you to do, if you want to participate, is write down 5 unhealthy habits that you do, but also pay attention and write down the thoughts and the feelings and the situations that seem to cause them. Because, you know, and then if you'd be willing to share, you have 1 or 2, you would be willing to share some of them, that would be great, because that really is going to help a lot of people, including yourself, to be able to just see that kind of thing. All right, let's see, we've got, all right, all right, we got a few minutes, so let's talk about, let's open it up for questions and answers. Does anybody else have any questions? Comments? Thoughts?
I unmuted everyone, so anyone that wants to talk about possibly a habit that they would like to work on over this week.
I wanted to ask you, it's Suri. I joined in like
Hi,
at 8:30. Hi. So I don't know if everybody could hear me, but I wasn't sure.
I can hear you.
We can all hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, so I happen to have just gotten the, I didn't read it or anything, but I'm starting tomorrow morning for the first time.
Oh.
So I was just wondering, I've never done it. So I think my bad habit is a lot of coffee. And I know that you said that I'm not supposed to have that much milk. So I guess, I don't know, I guess tomorrow somebody's just going to have to like sit next to me and just fill me in on this whole thing. But
Yeah,
I didn't even open the box.
We'll work together. Don't worry about that. And we're very excited to have you on the call, and and we'll work on that individually. And thanks so much for sharing. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add? It's so nice to hear from all of you.
Yeah, it's motivating for everybody.
Well, Terry, you have anything to say?
No, I was just thinking I had to get rid of some treats that I'd kept in my house for when my grandkids come to visit because they were calling my name. But they were looking in my refrigerator and my cupboards last time they were here, and they were very disappointed to find only healthy things.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's great. That really is. That's a good thing. And it's not so bad for them to learn to be to eat a little healthy too.
Oh, I know.
That's not so terrible.
But you could put stuff that you don't like like non-healthy stuff that you don't like and you wouldn't touch.
Yeah, I actually did just get some of the little dum-dum suckers today, and I put them in the candy dish. I had thrown out the chocolate, and I put some dum-dum suckers because I really don't care for those.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay, well, does anyone else have anything to add?
Nobody?
Okay, I think
we're good. If you're ready to end, I was just going to say that I've had a hard time staying on track and eating every 2 to 3 hours lately, even though I'm in maintenance. It's still important because that's how I got into the trouble to begin with, is by not eating enough and then binging when I was starving. So I have to work on that habit this week.
And I will tell you one of mine. Just to think about. I was raised in a house where you had to finish your food because there were everything on your plate because there were children starving in Africa. I always wanted my mom to ship it, to pack it up and send it to them, but that's not what she did. And that to me that's still kind of resonates with me. I'm sitting with with Stacy, or we're sitting with our kids or things like that, and we're at a restaurant, and the kids or anybody, somebody doesn't want to finish their food. What's going through my mind is, well, I can't let it go to waste. I should eat it because nobody else is going to eat it, so I can't let it go to waste. So one of the things that really kind of the mind shift for me that really made a difference for me was the realization that, what, if I'm eating it, it's still going to waste. It's just going to my waste. It's not really, it's not. I'm not really eating it because I'm getting nutritional benefit from it. I'm just eating it because I'm still throwing it away. I'm just throwing it away differently. And it really doesn't matter. So it's not really helping anybody or anything for me to eat it. But it's still hard for me sometimes because that's my immediate go-to is somebody's got to eat this. So that's one of my hard times, one of the things that I struggle with. All right, it is 9 o'clock here. And we really want to keep on schedule here and respect your time. So we're going to stick around for another 10 minutes if anybody would like to kind of hang out and talk some more or ask any more questions or have a more discussion. But other than that, this does mark the end of tonight's discussion. Thank you and congratulations to all of you who called in tonight because it's a really big step. And we very much appreciate it. And like I said, go you guys.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night.